Hi everyone, welcome back to Talk Tottenham. Let's get straight into the team news for Brighton versus Spurs at the Amex Stadium on Thursday. There is breaking news and it's bad news. Christian Romero is injured. He went off against Everton with a hamstring strain and Ange Postecoglou has confirmed that he'll be out for 4 to 5 weeks with it, which is a huge blow for Spurs, especially with Mickey van der Ven still injured. So on to some better news and about Mickey van der Ven. He's still not back for this game, but Ange has confirmed that he's recovering well. He'll join training within the next 2 weeks and he hopes to have him back for the Man United game in mid-January. Also, other good news is that Destiny Udogie, who was suspended for the last game for 5 yellow cards, is back and available. Other than that, Brennan Johnson, who had that bad head injury against Nottingham Forest, who wore a headband throughout the game against Everton, he got through that game fine and he's available as well. Giovanni Lo Celso, who's also been out injured recently, he was fit enough to make a substitute appearance against Everton, in which he performed really well. So he's also got through that just fine and he's also available. On to some not so good news. Dejan Kulusevski and Sarr, they are available for this game, but they are now both on 4 yellow cards. This means if they get booked in this match, they will miss the next game against Bournemouth. Now, this is Spurs' 19th Premier League match of the season. So this means that this is the last possible time that a player can get a 5th yellow card, which will lead to a 1-game suspension. So if Dejan Kulusevski doesn't get booked in this game, but gets booked against Bournemouth, it won't result in a suspension. So we just need them to avoid suspension this time. Let's get on to the injured players, and it's quite a list. We have 7 out now. As we mentioned, Romero and Van der Ven are out for this game. In addition to that, we still have James Maddison, Rodrigo Bentancur, Manor Solomon and Ivan Perisic, as well as Ryan Sessegnon, all out and unavailable. So on to the team news. For me, the predicted lineup should look again something similar to the Everton match. Even though our performance wasn't so great, Ange doesn't have many options to change it. Ange did mention that the players were a bit fatigued after the game against Everton, but have recovered well in the meantime. So we'll certainly see Vicario in goal. He was excellent, the man of the match really, in our last game and has been superb all season. For the back 4, there'll be changes again. Destiny Udogie being back means he'll come back in at left back. Emerson filled in well there, especially defensively in the last game, but undoubtedly Udogie's first choice in that position. On the ball, there's no comparison. So he'll come in at left back. Pedro Porro, who's been superb all season, will be at right back. It's now at centre-half where we have the issue, with no Van der Ven and no Romero. Ben Davies should keep his position as the left centre-back. He's performed very well in the last few games there. And then the big question mark is who will play in Romero's position as the right centre-back. Now, Eric Dyer filled in for Romero from half-time against Everton in the last game, so he could be called upon to play that role. There are also young centre-backs like Ashley Phillips and Alfie Dorrington, although as they haven't seen much game time under Ange, it's very, very doubtful he'll start them away at Brighton. I'm going with Emerson Royal. Ange has played him with Ben Davies when we were missing Romero through suspension and Van der Ven through injury. And he played well defensively in our last match. So I think he'll go with Emerson Royal and Ben Davies as a centre-half partnership. Of course, Eric Dyer is the other option he'll be considering. For the midfield 3, Sarr and Kulusevski are almost the certainties to play in there. It's who picks up that third role. The 3 main candidates, Oliver Skipp, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Giovanni Lo Celso. He played Skipp in the role last match. playing him as a 6. Of course, Højbjerg is a more natural 6 and has got more experience in the role. And Giovanni Lo Celso didn't seem like he was fit enough to play the 90 minutes last game after recovering from injury. He probably wouldn't play as the 6, but he could play as the 8 with Sarr going back there. So it's a very close call between all 3, and it also depends on Gio's fitness. I would like to see Gio play as the 8 and Sarr move back to the 6, but he might well stick with Oliver Skipp for an away match at Brighton. But let's see on that one. The front 3 should be as the last few games. Brennan Johnson on the right wing, Sonny off the left, and Richarlison down the middle, who's on red-hot form in front of goal right now. What do you think the team should be? And as always, come on you Spurs.